This is going to talk about mostly restaurants. So the current food and beverage paradigm as we know it was created in 1993. Used to be, the restaurant industry was sort of looked upon as a place where you would go to work if you'd just gotten out of prison, or you were in the Navy, or you were a cook, or whatever. It was not really looked upon as something glamorous. It was always high-end restaurants. There were always amazing places to eat, but it really wasn't looked at as a career choice, and it wasn't looked at as something particularly glamorous. And by the way, it isn't. It's really incredibly hard work surrounded by slippery things and fire and sharp blades, and it is a grueling way to make money. But because of 1993, in the 1993 to present paradigm, that's where we find ourselves because of, in my opinion, this is all this stuff is my opinion that I'm giving you today, so it's not worth a whole lot other than the fact that I deal with it all the time. But it's as a result of the Food Network. So it used to be that cooking shows were on PBS. You'd have Julia Child, you'd have Emeril, you'd have, you know, guys like that, the Frugal Gourmet, people like that. They would cook. They would have cooking shows on the weekends or certain days of the week, and that's how a handful of people sort of got exposed to ingredients and to different cooking types and some of the more exotic things. But when Food Network launched on cable in 1993, it brought that whole culture into people's living rooms 24/7, and as a result, we've seen by far an increased awareness of people's appreciation, knowledge of food, ingredients, nutritional information. Everybody calls themselves foodies. They take pictures of their food and put it on Instagram. I just saw a statistic yesterday that 25% of millennials photograph their food. That's a very high number. Whereas a few years ago, nobody took pictures of their food. It just didn't make sense. We didn't have an outlet for it. The other thing that it's achieved is increased culinary school enrollment, which has been great for culinary schools. It's been kind of bad for expectations of the enrollees in these culinary schools, because it has, the Food Network paradigm has sort of increased people's assumption that they're going to come out of culinary school and be a chef and have a show and be world famous. And in reality, a lot of those guys come out of culinary school, end up you know, working the buffet at a country club or a cruise ship, or you know, in the back of a kitchen chopping onions, and it is not what they signed on for. And some of those culinary schools are very, very expensive. And as a result, there are a lot of unmet expectations in that world, and so it has caused some really good things to happen in culinary school, but also some really bad things.